Hey guys, welcome back. Long time no see. Big World Cup is around the corner, तो हमने सोचा थोड़ा बातचीत कर ही लेते हैं. तो सिद्धार्थ, let's get started. इंडिया से ही शुरुआत करते हैं. Where do you think we stand? What do you think our 11 should be? Ba. Let's get started.
भाई वी स्टैंड एग्जैक्टली जो एक साल पहले पिछले वर्ल्ड कप में अपन स्टैंड कर रहे थे. ना टीम में डिफरेंस है, अप्रोच में ठीक है, बोल सकते हो है डिफरेंस थोड़ा. बस अभी मेरे को लगता है बस बॉलिंग आ जाए पहले पाकिस्तान के सामने. बाकी तो मेरे को लगता है कि ये टीम में पोटेंशियल तो ऑब्वियसली है ही, पर बॉलिंग बहुत वीक है. बॉलिंग बहुत ज्यादा वीक है और बैटिंग डेप्थ का भी थोड़ा इशू लगता है मेरे को.
I think main difference ये है कि this team has played together for a number of games now. Last year तू वही देखेगा तो like we didn't know किसका strength क्या है because Sky had played 4 international T20 matches before he came into the World Cup. We didn't play a T20 international game like जो अपना 11 है since March 2021, and we played the World Cup in November 2021. So that is a big gap, to be very honest. We played a test series in England, we played the IPL, we did all those things. This year, the biggest advantage, I think, is that in the last 12 months, we have probably played the most number of T20 internationals. And the players who needed game time have game time now. If you talk about KL Rahul, since the Asia Cup, he has got good decent amount of time. We were talking about Virat's form, Virat's place in the last video. He got game time and he's back to at least close to being at the level that we expect him to be. Then you talk about Hardik. Hardik has turned out to be a game changer in the last few months, since the England tour, really. Then if you see, probably if you talk about that, I think only Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is the only cause for concern there because he's the most experienced player and death mein maar kha raha hai. And even in the beginning, if you see against the series against Australia, Cam Green was taking him apart. So I think Dinesh Karthik has been in really good touch. Whenever he has got the chances, he has performed. Akshar Patel, whenever he has got the chances, he has performed well as well, even with the ball. Surya Kumar, I think he's going to be our X factor in this tournament. He has been doing so well in the last 6 months in the T20 internationals that we have been playing. So if you look at that 6-7 of the core group have been performing really well. And of course, bowling is a cause for concern. But I think Arshdeep has done really well in the limited number of chances that he has got. Okay, probably he didn't have the best series against South Africa probably, but even in the Asia Cup while bowling in the death, okay, he dropped that big catch, but apart from that, in terms of his bowling, I thought he nailed his Yorkers very well, and he was our best bowler by far, and that says something when you have the likes of Chahal, Bhuvaneshwar. Um, these are your experienced guys, so I think Arshdeep, I know maybe some no ball issues and stuff, but I think he has been our best bowler in the last 5 or 6 months. Pace bowler, definitely. And Harshal is probably another cause for concern because since his comeback, I don't remember him going for less than 8 runs per over in any game. So I think one or two minor fixes, but I think that is the case with every team. The only difference, the big difference between last year and this year, I think, is this team has played together. They know their strengths and weaknesses, and I think we are more of a team now. Last year, I thought we were more of individuals because of not having played together for a sustained amount of time.
Yeah, I agree. I'll like to point Surya Kumar Yadav भाई. मेरे को नहीं लगता कोई भी player over 6 months has played better than Surya has been playing ever in T20. Not Chris Gayle, not Virat Kohli, not Brendan McCullum. तो उसका 2022 का नंबर देख, उसका स्ट्राइक रेट 40 है. Name one player who has done better over 6 months. I don't think so. Maybe ABD at his peak was doing that. But
in international, I don't think so. So yeah, I think
the kind of shots he has, he can he can take on any bowler at any point. But apart from that, बॉलिंग में अपना है यार कंसर्न, मतलब फ्लैट ट्रैक बुलीज जो होते हैं ना, वो सब इनको बुली करेंगे अगर ट्रैक फ्लैट है तो। मतलब कोई धार नहीं है बॉलिंग में अभी, नॉट वन सिंगल एक्स फैक्टर, ना पेस है ना
What do you
बाउंस है।
think about Shami's inclusion into the side?
यार एक ओवर डाला है भाई ने अब तक, उसमें तो मचा दिया था तो, बट इट्स आई थिंक टू सून टू से, बिकॉज वो उनका लोअर ऑर्डर था और काइंड ऑफ बिगिनर्स लक लगा मेरे को वो ओवर
हम्म
देख के, अच्छा ओवर था
और वो
बट
भी कैच तो भाई
कैच
कहाँ
नहीं
से तो
होता और सिक्स चले
हाँ,
जाता अगर तो
क्योंकि
फिर
वो
लाइक।
7 और 4 चाहिए था वहां में, तो catch literally turned the game. But also in terms of Shami, if you had him in your mind, if the selectors had him in their mind as a backup, I think he should have played some T20
he
international.
he he had covid that उसकी वजह से
Ha,
नहीं था।
in the last, yeah, fair enough. But I still think that probably Asia Cup में you could have sent him into the
अभी भी था
reserves,
उसको कोविड, वो
something
कितने टाइम
like.
से कोविड में था ना।
नहीं ना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया टूर से पहले हुआ ना कोविड. That's when he
हम्म
was replaced.
तो
तो
उससे पहले हाँ थोड़ा, वो थोड़ा वही लगता है कि वो।
I mean, if you have him in your 15, 16 or whatever, then you should have played at least, because this yesterday was the first T20 I, like ये भी international नहीं था, warm up ही था. So if he plays against Pakistan on Sunday, that will be the first T20 international that he has played since the last World Cup. So I think if he was in your plan, then I think he should have been given some more game time. But of course, Shami is a very good bowler. Same like new ball mein, he's very very good in the death. He has been going for runs even in the IPL most of the times and even in the internationals as well. So that is one area of concern. But let's pick your bowling 11, like top five. I think our batting, I think there are no more questions, at least in terms of our batting order. The last time there were talks of Huda and I don't remember. There were 3, 4 guys in contention for the number 3 spot, but I don't. I think he has put those. Let's start at that. How do you see Kohli shaping up for the tournament? Because only because there were a lot of talks of him before the last time we were here at least.
आई थिंक अपने साइड से हाईएस्ट रन स्कोरर विल बी कोहली। आई एम मेकिंग अ प्रेडिक्शन हियर बिकॉज व्हेन वाज द लास्ट टाइम यू रिमेंबर, अभी कोई भी एनालिसिस टू चैट देख ले टीवी पे या कहीं भी, व्हेन वाज द लास्ट टाइम जब कोहली पे फोकस था ही नहीं।
Hmm.
आई डोंट रिमेम्बर, मे बी
Hmm.
2010। या तो ऐसा फोकस रहा है कि भाई ये यही मारेगा जैसा अभी सूर्या पे है, या
Hmm.
तो गाली पड़ रही होती है जैसे लास्ट 2-3 साल से था कि रन नहीं आ
Hmm.
रहा है। दिस टाइम ही इज लाइक अंडर द radar। आई थिंक he might just take advantage of this lack of pressure and just kill it.
Yeah, I think in terms of top run scorer, my prediction is KL Rahul, because I think he has taken his game up a notch in the last 2, 3 weeks, really. Because even in the Asia Cup, he was just returning from his injury as well. He took his time a little bit, and there were already complaints ki should we open with Virat and Rohit, and that gives a left-hander into the 11 as well. But I think KL Rahul is like when they play their best T20 internet T20 game, I think after Sky KL is our best batter. The range of shots that he has, I don't think he has a weakness against any sort of bowling. If you like, they don't have a weakness, Rohit and Virat, against the leg spinners, but their scoring rate can get affected a little bit in terms of like they don't have that good a game against spin as against pace that they have right now. And the best thing about this World Cup, I feel, is that it suits our top order very, very well. Like pace and bounce, KL, Rohit, Virat, Sky, even Hardik and Dinesh Karthik. If this World Cup was in UAE, I would have looked to play Pant instead of Dinesh Karthik or something like that, because Pant's game against spin, I think, is better suited than Dinesh Karthik's game against spin. So I think having this World Cup in Australia is a big plus for us, because our batting against fast bowling is I'm putting there right up there against right up there on the top, because they have the range, they have the quality, and they have demolished attacks on the, and you look at their numbers in Australia. So I think that is a big factor. And coming back to Kohli, I think we discussed that he needed a break. He said he needed a break, so the best thing that we could have done was given him a break, and the BCCI did that, which was very nice. And credit goes to Rohit and the coaching staff as well, because not for 1 second did they like in their press conferences say, "Oh, and yeah, he's struggling a bit, but his spot," nothing of that sort. They always said that they're backing him till the end, and you saw the results. Coming to the Asia Cup, where he scored his 71st 100, that was probably a big weight off his back. Not in terms of okay, it was inconsequential game, but Afghanistan I still consider as one of the better bowling attacks in the world. When you have and you saw that in their game against Pakistan as well. They won in the last ball by their number 11 scoring a six. So yeah, I think everything points towards him being back to the level that we know him to be at, and his fitness, his fielding, they have never, those standards have never dropped. And in terms of his batting, I think he has worked on his game. Yesterday, if you saw his six against Ashton Agar, and if you see the six against Zampa in the T20 series against Australia, I don't remember him doing all those in the last 2.5 years, really. I mean, he has scored runs, obviously. He's too good to not score runs, but those, that six, that's those extra step out, okay, Marna. I think those things have come back into his game, which is very good to see and can work for us in the World Cup as well.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, overall, बस यही है. The thing that strikes for me is इतना बोल बच्चन हुआ अपना कि अप्रोच अलग करेंगे, ये करेंगे, पर प्लेयर एक ही डिफरेंट है, वो थोड़ा मेरे को
I think that is fair enough. If you see Rohit's number in the in in 20 from 2020 to 2021, and then just this year, if you see, his intent has been really good right from the get-go. He just keeps going.
Yeah, I
He
think
has a
दो
higher.
लोग का intent has changed. One is Rohit, one is Kohli. बाकी लोग का तो I think Hardik actually has tempered down. I think he
Hmm,
plays sensibly now, which we need
hmm.
at number 5
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. And I think the best thing about this batting attack is that we have batters who can play according to the situation. And I think that is where Virat's role becomes very, very important, because he's the kind of guy that can keep going without taking too many risks, can keep going at 130, 135, and then in the end just switch gears. And at the other end, if you remember in the decider against Australia, Virat was what? I think he started scoring runs right as soon as he came in, and then as soon as Surya took off, he took a back seat, and in the end he scored the winning runs. He got slow a bit in the end, but in run chases sometimes those things can happen. But I think
He,
his go ahead.
no, I was going to ask versus Pakistan, Shaheen Afridi is back or no?
Yeah. He bowled in the warm-up also yesterday,
But he's
Shaheen.
back, like fully back.
Yeah. He bowled
Mm.
yesterday in the warm-up matches also, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
he'll be available in the 11.
So I think that is a big threat. I think India Pakistan matches of late have been like the person who hits the first punch wins.
Hmm.
एक बार तुम टॉप पे आ गए राइट कॉन्टेस्ट में, फिर आई हैवंट सीन स्विच हो रहे. वैसे क्लोज गेम्स कहाँ थे लास्ट 2016 एशिया कप या ऐसा कुछ होगा या
Yeah, even
उधर.
this Asia Cup, no, we scored 180 and they chased it down in the last over. Arshdeep dropped the catch.
या बट मतलब या ये वाला था थोड़ा क्लोज, बट उसके अलावा आई थिंक इट हैज बीन द फर्स्ट पंच विनर काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि एक पंच आ गया, जैसे पिछला वर्ल्ड कप पहला ओवर था, उसके बाद वी वर ऑलवेज लूजिंग, यू नो.
We're always catching up.
So I think we need to get on top first. That is the
Yeah,
only thing.
that is there, but there's a lot of noise about how will India deal with left arm pacers and all those things. But personally, I don't think there's too much of an issue there.
I think
Maybe the
Rohit has
numbers.
that weakness. Rohit needs to make sure he doesn't, throw
See,
it
I
away.
think in the first 1 or 2 overs, when the ball is doing a lot, we need that little bit of luck to get beaten. Yeah, inside edge miss ho jaye, ऐसा कुछ हो गया ना, then I think the game will be normal. But if we
Yeah.
get out, then you just have to say well bowled, because the balls that Shaheen bowled last year to Rohit and Rahul, not too many batters could have done too much about that. So that little bit of luck, I think that is again going to be a factor. I've been a big क्या बोलते हैं speak a lot about luck in these sort of games, and I still stick to it. Kyunki if we survive that early spell, and considering the way Rohit is going, he's going to take risks against Shaheen in the first over itself. So if we are going to play that high risk game, then we need a sensible middle order to, just calm things down. And Sky just walks in, hits the ball for a six in off his first ball. I don't know. He has done that like 4 or 5 times in the last 6, 7 times.
He's
So
done that on debut.
yeah, so that sort of calms things down. But I still think that we are well equipped this time to go the distance. More this time than last time, even with having the same 13, 14 players that we had last year. Because well, they are our best T20 international players still. So that doesn't change too much. But the only thing I think is that we have played a lot of matches together this time, and I think that will bode well for us going ahead.
Yeah, let's hope. Hoping that
Uh,
the bowling, is able to pull it.
or just score 20, 30 extra runs.
Well, that that won't work always, right? कभी तो out हो गए.
Yeah, of course. Coming to the other teams, where do you think the biggest threat to Australia's crown lies, and if Australia are favorites as well?
I think Pakistan, Australia, England. England is obvious threat. They are good. Sri Lanka is, underdog team. They won the Asia Cup, so
Yeah, but are they going to qualify after their Sunday?
that is sometimes stories like this, but it's sad that Asia Cup जीत के भी qualifier खेलना पड़ रहा है.
Uh, yeah, considering I think Australia is a big threat because home advantage and all those things. But I still think they are there for the taking because the last two series that they played was against us and against England, and they lost both, and we beat them like quite well. Like even their bowling is a cause of concern because I don't see any death bowler like we have that
Mitchell
problem as
Stark
well.
is there, but
Yeah, Stark is there, but even we can take him on. Like it's not like, oh, now he's not at that level that he was probably a few years ago where he just becomes unplayable in terms of his Yorkers and stuff. Of course, he's still a good bowler. We don't lose that overnight. But I still think even their team is there for the taking. Even Pakistan, I think their batting is a cause of concern more than their bowling
slow है
for
थोड़े,
me. Yeah, more so in terms of if they lose Rizwan and Babar early, then they don't have that luxury of
batting.
scoring,
Yeah.
batting depth, and all those things. And also, when they are batting together, they both strike at about 110, 120. So, if if at all, if they are batting first against us and they both go at that rate, then I think if our death bowling is proper, then we can restrict them to a subpar total. So I think not just in terms of India, Pakistan, but overall in terms of the tournament as well. I think that the scoring rate for them needs to improve a little bit more from the top order. Like at least one of the two, goes berserk in the beginning, and one of them, okay, holds one end up and all those things is fine. But I think that could be a cause of concern for their side. Uh, England, I think, yeah, England could be the X Factor team in this
The way they
tournament.
play is,
Yeah. And if the pitches are flat, then it suits their style of play more than any other team, I think. More than us also. Because they have an approach of just going from ball one. And they have a captain who does that. And I love Josh Butler. I think he's like after Sky, I think he's the number two T20 batter. Like the in terms of form and how highly I rate them, I think Joss Butler, we have to like whoever plays them needs to get them out. So the thing is, they just don't stop. So if we are talking about Pakistan, we just said that Rizwan and Babar, if you get them, you could have a slow game. These guys just don't stop. Butler, Hales, they have Stokes. Malan is probably the best example in the last 12 months that I can take off and say Malan was the number one T20 batter in 2021, and he was dropped from the side because of his slow start. So his
approach.
strike
Yeah.
rates in 2018, 19, 20, 21, the first 10 balls that he faced, the highest his strike rate was 112. So he has worked on his game, and now in 2022 itself, his strike rate in the first 10 balls is 142. So I think this is a very good example of for someone like Rishabh Pant, you know, who has gone under the radar and thoda on off sort of batter ho gaya hai. So if he can get that kind of break and he can rediscover that form, because Pant is going to be massive for us in the coming years. So I think that is going to be of big help. Coming back to England, I think if you go back to Stokes, then Livingston, Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Chris
मोइन अली ने
Woakes,
30 रन मारे थे अभी
George.
बीच में वो
Yeah. So
yeah.
that is a team that just doesn't stop batting, and they have that bowling options as well. So if you don't score 180, 190 against them, or if you're not
That's not
chasing
enough. You
probably,
have to bowl first
yeah.
versus
So
them.
that is the
You
only
cannot
option
bat
against
first.
them, or hope that every miss hit of theirs goes to hand. So I think England could be the dark horse of this
I
tournament.
think
And
वैसा team like England, right? इंडिया के
hmm,
सामने अगर आ गया, we cannot play spin versus them if we
hmm.
don't play Ashwin.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
अक्षर पटेल को
absolutely.
लेफ्टी लोग बैठ के मारेंगे और चहल भी is Google is not that effective कि वो लेफ्टी के सामने पकड़ के रखे बिश्नोई जैसे. So we
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think another dark horse could be, we didn't talk about South Africa
New
and New
Zealand.
Zealand. Where do you think those two teams stand?
I think South Africa is lacking steam, to be honest, from where I see them.
Hmm.
What is the scene with their captain? Babuma है नहीं है क्या है
Yeah,
उसका?
he is the captain, but I think he has to like not open the batting
He should
because
not bat at all.
yeah.
He's
So see, there are two ways that I look at it. One is they're thinking, okay, if there is a collapse, then maybe he can stabilize things and all. But in a T20, you pick your best T20 batters. You pick the 11 that has the best game against T20 to score runs.
वर्सेस इंडिया क्या इंजर्ड था क्या वो लास्ट
And
मैच में?
third game he didn't play. I think he played. He
पार्नेल
scored.
था ना कैप्टन?
नहीं, Babuma ही था.
नहीं था यार, बबूमा नहीं था.
He scored 0-0 and 8 he scored 8 in the third game. So
इंडिया
see, in terms of that, what I'm looking at is he should not be opening the batting, because you talk about maximizing the power play, and his career strike rate is 120 and his career power play strike rate is 115. I don't see the point of him batting in the power play. If the score is 20 for 3 and you are saying, okay, just for a little while you want to stabilize, that is a luxury player. I am not quite sure if they have that kind of luxury player where they have 10 such good players that they can afford to have a Bavuma in the 11. But look, cricket is a funny game. So he could have the game
I
of his
think
tournament as well. Still don't think that. I think they should open with like a Markram or something like someone like that, Markram and Decock. I think that gives them the best because they have a very good bowling attack. Maharaj, Shamsi, Rabada, Nokia, and I think with Vian Mulder, I think he got ruled out or something. But Parnell is a decent option as well. So I think they could probably cause a few upsets. They are in our group, so hopefully not with
मिलर
us.
भाई, मिलर,
But Miller
that
is
one
in,
guy.
yeah, he's in ridiculous form, so that could be a big plus for them. And I think New Zealand, I think Williamson has the drop off in the last 12 months has been huge. Of course, there won't be too much noise because he's not a
We thought
particular player. But yeah, look, but we have seen it time and again in the big games, he steps up and he has done that time and again. Even in the last year's T20 World Cup final, he was the man. Then in the tri series that they recently played, he was the man. He scored 59 of 37 or something like that. I've had a big problem with his slow starts. But come the ICC events, I think he will be ready. So I don't think Kane Williamson is probably a cause of concern, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not still quite sure about how their 11 is shaping up to be, and that could probably hamper them a little, but we are not quite sure. We just have to take a look at it. Where do you see them in this tournament?
I have, to be very honest, not followed them that much. So I think your your word is the last on that. But
Yeah, yeah,
they are
of
always
course.
those
There are,
underdogs. लगता नहीं है कि
yeah,
जीतेंगे और पता नहीं आके हरा देते, अपने को तो हरा ही देते
yeah,
हर बार.
exactly. So I think that is their probably biggest strength, so to speak. Come the ICC events, they're just there. Like before the tournament, now it's all been about Australia, the number one ranked side in the world, India, defending champions, Australia. So I think England, the way we spoke about them having that X factor and all, but I still think that New Zealand will be ready come Saturday. They have the good thing is that they are in the other group this time and they can't at least spoil our party so early. So we are meeting them and saying they're in the semis or the finals. Uh, any okay, yeah, let's do our top four as well. We have time, we have a few minutes.
I think top four: India, Australia, England, and I think Pakistan.
First, I'm going with India, South Africa from our group. Um, because I think Shaheen is still, सीधा उसको कुएं में फेंक रहे sort of thing. So if
शमी जैसा
he, huh? Sorry?
शमी जैसा
Yeah, but Shami still was playing matches. Shaheen didn't play since August, so that if we are able to take him on early and Shaheen is not at his 100%, then I think that is a bowling lineup that can concede runs and also a batting lineup that we already spoke about. So I'm going with South Africa because of the kind of bowling attack, the extra pace that you need in Australian conditions, the 150 plus of Nokia, the Rabada with 145. I think that could be very, very key for them. And I expect them to get into the top four. From the other end, I think it's going to be, yeah, it's look far. It's really hard to look past Australia and England, to be very honest. So I'm going with those two as well. But of course, New Zealand will be my, if England or Australia slip up, I think they'll be there.
वेस्ट इंडीज निकल गया है क्या पूरा
They're playing qualifiers and they lost against Scotland yesterday. Scotland, yeah, Scotland, I think. They were chasing 160 something. They were 51 for 1 and they ended up कितना वो लोग 70 for 8 हो गया था उसमें में.
अरे
So that's typical West Indies. They didn't take Hetmeyer because he missed his flight. I'm not believing that garbage, but these are the things that are going on in in the West Indies cricket board. So I have no hope from them. Uh, let's go with the leading run scorer and leading wicket taker for you in the tournament.
I'm going to over over predict on my horse this time. I think Virat Kohli जी करेगा because इतना under the radar वो कभी नहीं रहा है और
तेरे
I
मुंह
think
में घी शक्कर.
साले
And leading wicket taker?
um mm, Stark. I think वो भी under the radar रहा है और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में he can cause havoc. So what about you?
Leading run scorer, I'm going with KL Rahul because I think there has been a lot of noise about him in the last 4 or 5 months and deservingly so. I'm not saying that that strike rate thing was not an issue and all those things, but these conditions are tailor-made for, as I mentioned, a top order literally. So he's going to get the most time out in the middle. So I'm going with KL Rahul to be the leading run scorer in the tournament or Joss Butler. These are my top two, to be honest. And in terms of leading wicket takers, I think it's going to be someone who bowls at the death quite a lot. Someone like a Harshal Patel, what he did in the IPL was just that, come in the last 4 overs, just take a
Indian
ton of
pitches, not
wickets. Yeah, but these long grounds could help him. He still hasn't showed anywhere close to the signs that we have seen in the IPL, but of course, so I'm not quite sure. Probably Stark as well in terms of, or probably I'm going with Trent Bolt as well because he could be the X factor kind of guy, left arm seamer, swings the ball both ways. If the ball, if as we heard that there could be rain in and around the matches, so if that is the case, if there are cloudy conditions, then he could rip teams apart in the first 4 overs itself. So I'm probably going with Bolt, Bolt, Stark, probably someone like that, or someone like a Harshal Patel who bowls at the death. So these are so the big question. Last, who wins the tournament?
Heart says India, brain says England.
My heart says India, obviously. My brain says India too. I expect an India-England final, and may the better team win. You need that little bit of luck, and I'm hoping that in the last few years we haven't had that at the right moments. I know people talk about, oh, luck kya hai ye wo, but I still think that that is going to be, again, play a key factor. Like that little bit of luck at the right moment, if we have it, if things go our way, then I think we are we are good enough to win it this time, and hopefully we get it across the line. So thanks for doing this again. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
You are welcome.
Yeah. The 5, 6 people who are watching us, keep watching us 10 times. And we'll
Will
see
do.
you guys after the World Cup.